Ma'am, you need to step back behind the line. My daughter can't breathe. Anna Raines slammed both hands against the ER counter, while Lily's limp body slid lower in her arms. Blood stained the sleeve of the little girl's school jacket, bright against the fluorescent lights overhead. A nearby toddler started crying as people in the waiting room turned to stare. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for updates. The receptionist barely looked up from her monitor. Insurance card and payment authorization first. Anna's voice cracked. She collapsed at school. I drove her here myself. Please, somebody check her pulse. A young nurse stepped forward, eyes widening at Lily's pale face, but the woman at the desk lifted a hand to stop her. Do not bypass intake. Anna looked down at her daughter's wrist. Tiny. Cold. She pressed trembling fingers against the skin and nearly lost her balance when she struggled to feel anything at all. Oh my God, Lily, baby Lily, wake up. Security guards started moving toward the desk. The receptionist sighed impatiently. Your insurance profile is inactive pending balance review. Until financial clearance is resolved, we cannot assign a trauma room. You're letting her die over paperwork. Lower your voice. Someone nearby raised a phone and started recording. Anna tried to push past the counter toward the treatment hallway, but the receptionist stepped directly in front of her. If you continue disrupting emergency operations, you'll be removed from the property. Anna stared at her in disbelief. Lily's head rolled weakly against her shoulder. There was blood near her mouth again. Then panic took over. Get your surgeon, Anna shouted, now. The receptionist finally looked up, expression flat and exhausted. He's not coming. Behind them, the elevator doors opened. Two doctors stepped out mid-conversation. One of them, a tall man in dark blue scrubs with silver threaded through his hair, kept walking until Anna screamed again. Please, my daughter's dying. The man turned instinctively. Anna choked out the words through tears. Her name is Lily Raines. The doctor stopped so suddenly, the physician beside him nearly walked into him. Everything changed in a single second. His face drained of color. What did you just say her name was? The waiting room fell silent. Anna tightened her grip around Lily. Lily Raines, please help her. The receptionist immediately straightened. Dr. Vale, the patient hasn't completed intake yet, I was handling. He ignored her completely. Dr. Adrian Vale crossed the floor fast, one hand already reaching for Lily's wrist. The second his fingers touched her pulse point, his jaw tightened. How long has she been sitting here untreated? Dana folded her arms defensively. There were unresolved financial restrictions on the account. How long? No one answered. Adrian looked at the blood on Lily's jacket, then at Anna. What happened? She passed out at school, Anna said breathlessly. She kept saying her stomach hurt all week, then today they called me and said she collapsed. She stopped responding in the car. Adrian didn't wait another second. Trauma Bay 3 now. The young nurse from earlier rushed forward with a gurney, while Adrian personally lifted Lily from Anna's arms. The motion was so fast, and practiced it stunned everyone nearby. Dana stepped closer, lowering her voice urgently. Doctor, administration requires payment authorization before. Adrian turned on her so sharply she stopped speaking. If this child dies because treatment was delayed, paperwork won't save any of us. The hallway exploded into motion. Nurses pushed through double doors, machines rolled past, security stepped back immediately. For the first time since entering the hospital, Anna felt somebody was actually trying to save her daughter. She followed the gurney until staff blocked the surgical corridor. You can't go past this point, a nurse told her gently. Anna watched Adrian adjusting oxygen tubing over Lily's face as they rushed her away. Then he stopped just before entering the operating area. Slowly he turned back toward Anna. Her father, his voice lowered, was Michael Raines. Anna froze. Almost nobody said Michael's name anymore. How do you know my husband? But Adrian was already staring through the operating room doors like he'd seen a ghost. Dr. Adrian Vale didn't answer immediately. For a moment the chaos around him seemed to disappear. Nurses shouted vitals, monitors beeped, gurneys rolled past, but his eyes stayed fixed on Anna like he was trying to confirm something impossible. Then his expression hardened again. "Prep her for emergency surgery," he ordered. "Call vascular and pediatrics now." The doors burst open, swallowing Lily and the trauma team. Anna tried to follow. "Please, I need to be with her." A nurse caught her gently by the shoulders. "You can't go in there." The surgical doors slammed shut. Anna stood frozen in the hallway, staring at the red light above the operating room switch on. Behind her, Dana's voice suddenly changed completely. "I was following standard intake procedure," she said quickly. "There seems to have been confusion about the urgency of the case." Anna turned slowly. "Confusion," she whispered. "You looked at my daughter and told me to pay first." Dana glanced around at the growing number of staff watching them. "Ma'am, yelling won't help your child." Anna stepped toward her, shaking. "You blocked the hallway." Before Dana could answer, another nurse hurried over carrying Lily's backpack. "These came with the paramedics." Anna grabbed the bag instantly. A folded packet slid halfway out, school medical reports. Her stomach dropped. Repeated complaints of abdominal pain. 3 separate visits to the nurse's office that week. Sent back to class each time. She told them she was hurting, Anna whispered. A nurse beside her lowered her voice carefully. "Children's symptoms get dismissed more often than people think." Anna pressed the papers against her chest, guilt crashing over her all at once. Lily had begged to stay home 2 mornings earlier. Anna had still sent her to school because she couldn't afford another missed shift. The operating room doors swung open suddenly. Adrian stepped out, blood staining his gloves. His eyes locked onto Anna immediately. "Did anyone else refuse to treat her before you got here?" The question hit hard enough that Anna couldn't speak. She opened her mouth. But Dana appeared from the hallway behind him. "Doctor," she interrupted tightly, "legal needs to speak with you immediately." Adrian turned slowly toward her. And for the first time, Dana looked nervous. "Legal can wait." Dr. Vale's voice cut through the hallway, sharply enough that nearby conversations stopped cold. Dana forced a tight smile. "The board will want clarification before staff start making assumptions." "Assumptions," Adrian snapped. "A 7-year-old nearly died in your lobby." Patients in the waiting room turned openly now. Nurses stopped pretending not to listen. Dana lowered her voice. "You are creating liability by saying things like that publicly." Adrian stepped closer. "Pull the intake timestamps, camera footage too." Her face changed instantly. "Doctor." Now, a silence spread through the ER. The same man who had recorded Anna earlier slowly lifted his phone again. Within minutes, whispers spread across the waiting room. "That's the hospital from the article last year. They denied somebody treatment before. I knew this place had problems." Phones began buzzing almost at once. The video was already moving online. Anna sat against the wall outside surgery, trying to steady her breathing, when the young nurse crouched beside her. "You should know something," she said quietly. "Dana's department tracks uninsured admissions aggressively. A lot of us hate it." "You mean this happens before?" The nurse hesitated too long. Across the room, the 2 security guards who had approached Anna earlier avoided looking at her completely. Then another woman rushed into the hallway carrying school paperwork. "I'm Vice Principal Harlow," she said breathlessly. "I came as soon as I heard." Anna stood immediately. Why did nobody call an ambulance sooner? The administrator looked sick. The nurse believed Lily was exaggerating to avoid class. She rested for a while before collapsing completely. Anna stared at her in disbelief. Hours. Her daughter had been in pain for hours. Before she could respond, the surgical doors burst open again. Adrian strode out, fury written across his face. "She had an internal rupture," he said. "The delay made the blood loss significantly worse." His eyes locked onto Dana. "How long was she sitting untreated?" Dana folded her arms defensively. The mother became aggressive and non-compliant during intake procedures. Anna exploded. Because you wouldn't help her. Her voice echoed across the ER. I begged you to save my daughter while you stared at a computer. A man from the waiting room stood abruptly. She's telling the truth. Another woman pointed toward Dana. That receptionist never even called a doctor. More voices joined in. I saw the whole thing. That child was unconscious. Dana looked around as the room turned against her. Then a man in a dark suit appeared from the elevator and approached Adrian carefully. The board wants this contained, he murmured, before the press gets involved. Adrian stared at him for one long second. Then he looked toward the waiting room windows, where flashing news cameras had already started pulling into the parking lot. By midnight, the hospital lobby looked nothing like it had hours earlier. Reporters crowded behind police barriers outside the ER entrance. Phones rang non-stop at the front desk. Staff whispered in corners every time Dana walked past. And Dr. Adrian Vale refused to let any of it disappear quietly. Lock all intake records from tonight, he ordered the compliance department. No edits, no deletions. A hospital administrator pulled him aside immediately. Adrian, think carefully before you escalate this. It escalated when a dying child was denied treatment. Meanwhile, 2 floors above the chaos, Anna sat outside the ICU alone. Lily had survived surgery. But barely. Every few minutes, another doctor walked past speaking in cautious, clinical language Anna hated more than anything. Unstable. Critical observation. Monitoring internal recovery. She stared at the blood dried across her sleeves and replayed the waiting room over and over in her head. Pay first. Or leave. A sudden argument erupted down the hallway. Anna looked up just in time to see Dana storming toward the billing office, with a hospital tablet clutched against her chest. Minutes later, a young tech employee hurried past security officers looking pale. She tried deleting intake timestamps, he said loudly. I reported it already. Dana stopped walking. Every person nearby heard it. The pressure inside the hospital shifted instantly. No longer rumors. Evidence. A little later, Adrian finally sat beside Anna outside the ICU. For the first time all night, he looked exhausted. I knew Michael Rains, he said quietly. Anna turned toward him slowly. Adrian stared through the ICU window before continuing. When I was 17, there was an apartment fire in Southbridge. He swallowed hard. I was trapped inside. Anna said nothing. Your husband carried me out before the building collapsed. The hallway fell silent around them. He came back afterward, Adrian continued. Checked on me during recovery, helped me stay focused after the surgeries. You knew him personally, Anna whispered. Adrian nodded once, but his expression darkened with guilt. There's more, he stopped himself. Outside downstairs, reporters were now broadcasting live. Inside, compliance officers pulled the official intake logs. The timestamps confirmed everything. Lily had waited dangerously long without trauma evaluation, despite obvious emergency symptoms. Then investigators uncovered something worse. Dana herself had placed a financial hold escalation flag on the account before triage even began. Intentional. Not accidental. Hours later, Adrian stepped quietly into Lily's ICU room while she slept beneath layers of machines and tubing. As he adjusted her blanket, something caught his eye. A faded red firefighter bracelet tied loosely around her wrist. His hand froze. It was the same braided bracelet Michael Rains used to wear every single day. Adrian's composure finally shattered. He paid for my future, he whispered hoarsely, and I almost failed his daughter. A knock interrupted him. A compliance officer entered the room. Doctor, she said gravely, the investigators need your statement right now. By morning, the story had spread far beyond the hospital. News vans lined the street outside the ER. Reporters crowded the sidewalks repeating the same horrifying details over and over. A 7-year-old girl left untreated while staff demanded payment. Inside the hospital, Investigators moved room to room collecting statements. Dr. Adrian Vale gave his first. She was visibly critical upon arrival, he said firmly across the conference table. Treatment delay was medically indefensible. Dana sat 3 chairs away beside hospital attorneys, her face pale and rigid. This was an intake misunderstanding, one executive interrupted carefully. We should avoid assigning individual blame until. It wasn't a misunderstanding, Adrian cut in. It was policy culture. The room went silent. Investigators reviewed security footage frame by frame. Anna carrying Lily through the doors. Anna begging for help. Dana blocking the hallway. Security approaching Anna instead of assisting her daughter. Then came the final blow. The IT department confirmed Dana attempted to alter intake records after surgery began. Whatever protection, she thought she had vanished instantly. Outside the conference room, Anna sat in stunned silence while reporters shouted questions down the hallway. Then Adrian approached her carrying a thin file folder. There's something you deserve to know. They sat together near the ICU windows while Lily slept inside. Adrian opened the folder carefully. Inside was an old scholarship document. Michael Rain's name signed across the bottom. Anna frowned in confusion. Adrian took a long breath. After your husband saved me from that fire, I spent almost a year recovering. My family couldn't afford my surgeries after insurance ran out. He looked down at the paper. Medical school became impossible. Anna stared at him quietly. A firefighter scholarship fund started covering my expenses anonymously, he continued. Tuition, rehab, housing. You didn't know it was Michael. Adrian shook his head slowly. Not until after he died. Anna covered her mouth. He never told me any of this. He didn't want recognition, Adrian said softly. That was who he was. For the first time since entering the hospital, Anna cried without anger behind it. Just grief. Inside the ICU, Lily shifted weakly beneath her blankets. Anna rushed to her bedside immediately. Lily's eyes opened slightly. Mom. Anna grabbed her hand carefully. I'm here, baby. Lily's voice was tiny. Are you okay? The question shattered Anna completely. After everything Lily endured, she was still worried about her mother first. Weeks later, the fallout only grew. Dana Mercer was suspended immediately pending criminal investigation into record tampering and emergency care violations. Several hospital administrators resigned after internal audits uncovered broader pressure to reduce uncompensated emergency admissions. Witnesses from the waiting room publicly backed Anna's account online and in formal statements. The video recorded that night spread nationally, triggering investigations into ER intake practices at other hospitals. Under mounting pressure, the hospital announced major policy changes. No emergency trauma patient would ever again wait for financial clearance before evaluation. And the new emergency treatment fund received a name. The Michael Rain's Emergency Access Program. Months later, sunlight filled the hospital courtyard during a dedication ceremony honoring firefighters and emergency responders. Lily walked beside Anna slowly but steadily, her small hand wrapped around her mother's fingers. Near the memorial display, Adrian approached carrying a sealed envelope. I think this belongs to her now, he said. Inside was the original scholarship letter Michael had signed years earlier. Lily read the final handwritten sentence out loud. If one life saved can save another, then none of us are lost. Anna looked toward the memorial wall, where Michael's name had been engraved beneath the hospital dedication plaque. For the first time in years, the loss hurt differently. Not smaller, but meaningful. And as Lily leaned gently against her side, Anna realized something else too. The man who once ran into a burning building to save a stranger had saved someone again. This time it was his own daughter.